because many of us who have joined from various parts of Malaysia and elsewhere might not be aware of the speaker. So I will have a few minutes to introduce the speaker, and then we'll begin with the session. So over here for today's talk, we have Dr. Noorul Fazlin Hasbullah. She is a professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering in the Faculty of Engineering at IIUM. She is graduated with first class honors from Cardiff University, Wales, with a bachelor's in engineering in 2001. Later, she worked as an integrated chip design engineer at Malaysian Microelectronic Solutions, Cyberjaya, for a year before joining the academia, teaching at the University of Tengah Nasional, Bangi, Malaysia, as a tutor. In 2003, she moved to International Islamic University, Malaysia, as an assistant lecturer. She obtained her PhD from the University of Sheffield in UK in 2010, researching on electrical and optical characteristics of quantum dots and laser structures. Her research interests continue in the areas of semiconductor devices characterization, optical detectors, radiation, and hard devices. So that's a very, very brief introduction of such a academic and higher respected personality. I won't waste any more moments to listen to her and her insights and how we as students can cope up in our academics, whether it is research or simple course, and we can come out with flying colors during the pandemic. Thank you very much, Madam, for your presence. The floor is yours. You can present your screen, and we are eager to listen to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Shaddad Khan. Let me first share my presentation. So how do I do this window? Okay. Can you see my slide?
Yes, ma'am. It's coming through.
Coming through. Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everybody. Thank you to Brother Shaddad Khan as the MC for today, and also for the kind introduction. I cannot see the faces when I do this. When I share my screen, I cannot see your faces. So if you have anything, just shout at me, brother. If anything, just like turn on the mic. And thank you also to Associate Professor Dr. Khaizuran as the counselor for the IEEE Student Branch, IIUM IEEE Student Branch. And also I would like also to thank the IEEE Student Branch IIUM for inviting me. Just to share with you, when Sister Tamana came to me on the idea of this on the mental health, I couldn't say no, because I think it's a very important topic, and somebody has to like we need to have a discussion on this. I think many are suffering, not only the students, even the academicians, and many are suffering in silence. So it's good to have a discussion on this. I'm not the expert in this. I'm just here to share my thoughts, and maybe together everybody can share so that we can help each other to go through this situation, this pandemic, inshallah. And I would like to welcome everybody here. I can see lecturers also welcome, and also the students, brothers and sisters of IIUM, and also out of IIUM. So I think there is some interaction. For me, a little bit more introduction. I'm very passionate on the research and the supervision, and also the well-being of our students. I think all of you, the students, are a very important asset to the university, and to the government, and to the world, and to the ummah. So it's very important for us to what do you call it, to take care, to see the to like look at the whole well-being of the students. This is in line, you know, I am now, we are going for SAFA, Sejahtera Academic Framework, whereby basically the core is Islam. In IIUM, the core is Islam, and Islam we take care of everybody, and it should be a holistic, growth. It shouldn't be only academic, it should be from the all aspects. So hopefully, so today I'll be sharing on that, and at the end I will also add on the Islamic perspective on this, inshallah. All right, so that's basically a little bit of introduction of me. I have like more than 14 masters and PhD graduates from me. So maybe I can share how do what do you call it, perspective on together, share with the students the perspective of supervisor as well, inshallah. So before we start, can we do a little bit of, just to get to know the audience? The reason being, then I can tailor my talk today, whether if it's majority from IIM or no. So the only two questions in here. So if you can go, let's say, and show, if I can copy this and I put in the chat, so you can go to this, stop sharing. I put in the chat. If you can click on this and please answer the question, the first question. Okay. If you are a lecturer, maybe you don't have to. My talk today actually focused on the research students, and I want to know your background a little bit. So, if you have any problem accessing the website, let me know.
It's good. It's good,
Good.
madam. Yeah,
Okay.
we can access it.
All right. Then I will like how would I present this? Let's keep first. So I will share with you the real-time answers of the students. I need to share screen first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, madam. It's going
Right.
through.
So we have 12 and 6. We have 18. And then can we wait for a few more? So are you from IIM or not? This the first question. So we have like very good, roughly more than half from not from IIUM. Okay, great. So I will not wait for the rest. Maybe some people are don't have access to this. So the next question I will ask is, how do I stop this? Skip. Okay, next question. How do I do this? Can you see the next question?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. We do.
Okay, good. So can you answer this? I just want to know how many are you doing engineering and how many not? Or I don't know whether there's option 3. I think that's my mistake to put option 3. And there's a person answering option 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they might not be from engineering or non-engineering.
So but non-engineering should be only 2, right? Engineering or two. Maybe they are they are interesting. So wow, interesting. If you can see the numbers, nearly half.
Yes.
So we have we have many of brothers and sisters here from non-engineering. Okay, that's good because my talk is not only focusing just on the engineering, but overall, inshallah. Okay, great. So the numbers are increasing. I just want to know roughly where you're from. Okay, good. Okay, how do I do this escape? Okay, thank you, brothers and sisters, for the answers. Now we'll continue with the talk, inshallah. Okay, share. Right. You can see my slide, right? Okay, brothers and sisters, nowadays is this is the new normal. We are in nearly 2 years of in the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's not only not only Malaysia, not only IIUM, but the whole world is experiencing this, and nobody has presented that this will happen. So when this comes, right, we the new normal is social distancing. For example, now we are doing remotely instead of being in a hall together. And much of the therefore, when you have this stay-at-home orders, we need to study from home or from mahalla or from hostel, and therefore learning remotely. This is the new norm. And with this, number two, so the focus of today's talk will be number two, mostly on the research and also on the classes. So when this happens, right, it is difficult for us to focus on the research and classes. When this is no longer normal. When we stay at home, we have, if we stay with our parents, or if you're already married, you have children, small kids, right? So this will also affect your research and classes. You cannot focus when you have like noises around. But brothers and sisters, just to inform those not from IIUM, in IIUM we call our students and also colleagues brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. So brothers and sisters, this is a new norm, and we have to accept it, inshallah, and this is from Allah. And just how do we cope? How do we, mold ourselves so that we can, sail this pandemic, inshallah, in the end safely. Okay. So before I start, I have listed a few of the challenges, but I would like to hear from you. What challenges do you face, during this pandemic? So hopefully, if I know what the kind of challenges, we can together, if not me, Dr. Khaizuran, Prof. Mashkuri, Dr. Bilal, Dr. Hajar, anybody lecturers here, or anybody can share together how can we help each other to face these challenges. So I don't know, maybe I should copy again, right? There's only like 3 of Mentimeter after this. There'll be another one, so it won't be much disruption. But I think this is important for me to understand, what are the things that you go through. Okay, so that's the link in the chat. Can you please answer it? Yeah. No, skip. If you go there. Can you access the link?
We can both. Even the QR code is working. I tried with both.
Even the QR. Okay, good. So all right. So how do I do this? I share my screen again. Okay. So here I will read some of your write-up. Poor concentration and irregular learning patterns, lab access, mentoring, peer group. My supervisor, interesting, loneliness. Time management. So time management, cannot do lab work, problem managing housework and kid and limited time to study. Sound pollution. Oh, you have sound pollution at your house. Okay, cannot even focus. Confusion of the highest order. Interesting. Why do you have confusion for in the highest order? House chores. Yes, we have a lot of house chores. Mentally not quite ready to do a research together with children, PDPR. This is those who have like small kids. Insufficient workspace. Okay, I will wait a few more minutes for you to write. Live with your father-in-law and children. My husband always out for outstation 4 or 5 times a week. At night, too tired to study, unable to focus. Yes, there are too much. There are many responsibilities while you're staying at home and studying. Time management, self-discipline, slow response for respondents and supervisor. Supervisor also slower. Okay, not focusing on research away from family. So not focusing on research away from family. So because of away from family, then you have some depressive situation. Okay, cannot focus with write up and children PDPR and homework. Okay, good. I'm a master student. I have made timetable allocated for my study life and everyday life, but cannot adhere adequately to it because of unavoidable distractions. Okay, so you already make the timetable, but you cannot follow it because there are distractions. Different time zone. So you have a class, and maybe you not in Malaysia, so the class is maybe 10 o'clock in the morning here. At your place, maybe like 4 o'clock in the morning. So therefore, that will cause some problems. Time management. Okay, so we have a few time management over here. We will touch a bit on time management, inshallah. Lack of self-esteem to push to the higher limit. Lack of self-esteem to push to the higher limit. Okay, what does higher limit means? I wonder. You know, if you have time, if you can put in the chat what you mean. More sleep than study. Yes. Okay. So we also have, I think many have, many stay at home, you know, the bed is closer to you than your study desk. So it's easier to sleep than study. Honestly, difficult to focus on research at home. Also, most of my research need lab. Yes. So one of the biggest problem nowadays is on the lab access for the research. Okay. So we have 24 answers here. I think the total of the participant is around 40 something. We have half of it. I think that's good enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
substantial number.
Yes, yes. Good. So at least we know. So everybody knows now. It's also very important for the supervisors, the lecturers, to understand what are the problems that faced by the students, and maybe after this, the lecturers as well can share the problems, and you will understand. I will share a bit on the possible problems. Okay, let's go back to my. If you have any question, you can just write down in the chat. Later on, Brother Shadat can help to us in the end.
Sure, madam. We can get the housekeeping. Like those who have, they can raise their hands. Else, we can get the questions from the chat window. Thank you very much.
Yes, great. Thank you. So I will share back my screen. And brother, I don't know about the time. Can you, like, if there's only like 10 minutes left, can you
Sure,
remind me?
sure, sure. I'll remind.
All right, thank you. Right, so from there, we know, we get to know some of your challenges that you face, and it's real. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and we understand this, and hopefully together we can understand each other and how we can, try to solve the problem, inshallah. So here are some of the challenges that we could find. Number one, so when there's no cancellation of face-to-face lectures, so therefore everybody will be studying at home, right? So the lectures also will be teaching from the home, and also the student will also learn from home. So this will disrupt the daily activities. So previously you'll be wearing good clothes, go to the campus for the class, to go to the lab, and you have social interactions when you go to the campus, to the labs. But nowadays, then you only work at home, and there's social interaction also shifted. So you don't have much social interaction face to face, and you're only left for digital platform. Okay, unless if you stay in the hostel or mahalla, there will be also, but I think even with a lot of quarantine nowadays, most of us are we are left with only digital platforms. Therefore, this give rise to increased level of anxiety and worry. So there's anxiety because this is something that we never faced before. It's as a human, when Allah created us as a human, we have this natural fitrah to meet another human. To be able to see another human, to smile. smile is sadaqah, right? The Rasulullah SAW said, smile is sadaqah. So why? When we see somebody else smiling, it will give, soothing to our heart. So now, in this isolated world, we cannot see somebody smiling. So it will somehow, increase our anxiety and worries, and worry because many things unknown. How long will the lab? How long will this curfew? This restriction occurring? When can I enter the lab? Right. So these are the things that. And can I finish my degree or no? Will I finish or not? Or will I what do you call it? Will I finish in time or not? So just talking on this, I had a discussion with one of my my student before. She's now doing a PhD in somewhere else, and she was telling me, many of her friends dropped out of the PhD during the COVID, not in IIUM, from another university, and the reason being due to this extended thing, and then they still need to have you still need to have to pay fees. So therefore, because of the extended and not sure, many worry, so many have dropped out. So they are the things that this is a real thing that affecting students all around the world. So when you have lack in person activities, it's harder to build and sustain friendship. I just know, like for example, Sister Tamana, when she arrived, she's from Kashmir. I'm the co-supervisor, and when she arrived, we only had like one or two classes online. After that, COVID. Since arriving from Kashmir, can you imagine? For the 2 years, she just stayed in the hostel and have no, real experience of a campus. So therefore, which means it's harder to sustain friendship, to get to know. It's not normal anymore. But this is the reality, and as a human being, as a Muslim, we accept this is from God and from Allah, and we try our best to adapt ourselves in this situation, inshallah. There's nothing that's happened which is not good. Everything is good, inshallah. It's just for us to how do we view and how do we view the situation, right? So therefore we need creative approaches, brothers and sisters. I'm just listing out the challenges and issues. So these are the challenging issues: the lab, the time management that you said just now, working from home. You have many chores, not only all the assignments, all the research tasks given by your supervisor, but you need to maybe clean the house, cook dishes, and then some are saying PDPR. You have small kids. PDPR means you have kids going to school online. So they need your attention. So you have to look at that while looking at you're focusing on your research. It can be sometimes a bit overwhelming and difficult, right? So that's the situation, and we know it's the situation. Perhaps how can we together make it less? Maybe we can. It's not possible to eliminate the problems. The problem is still there. How do we manage ourselves, inshallah, so that it can be better. It can be better, inshallah. Some more of the challenges and issues faced: student lack of accessibility to education on the internet. So some students, maybe if you are not in the hostel or mahalla, you're staying outside. Some can afford to, have a good internet connectivity. That's also a problem. Maybe you're back in your country where your country internet is not good. There's also a problem. This is a big problem, and this lack of internet connectivity. If this happens, because I don't have these slides later on, if in the internet connectivity, if it's a problem, you should discuss this with your lecturer. If it's a class, right? So you don't have good internet access. Try to discuss, politely with your lecturer. I'm sure the lecturer understands and will try to accommodate. I think, inshallah, try to make the lecturer understand. And then another problem is access to libraries, computer labs, campus Wi-Fi. So these are some essential tools that you had before. During this COVID and we work from home or study from home, you don't have access. I have a friend who told me, right, when she's not doing engineering, so her research mostly on looking at the social science, to look into the books and the journals and everything. So not able to access the library is a big problem, which in the end halted her research. And also computer labs, or not computer labs, or any labs. In engineering, IIM, School of Engineering, we just started, I think, to allow students to go to the lab. So if you are listening, you're an engineering student, IIM, you can apply to enter. Other universities, it depends on other universities. Some already opened long time ago, and some not. So so try. And regarding this, regarding these issues, I understand the students are facing the issues, but the university and the faculty also, this is new to the university and the faculty as well. We are trying our best. So therefore, we should help each other. For example, you can always keep on requesting to the Deputy Dean Postgraduate Affairs, regarding it's your right to just ask. It's okay. You can ask. You can ask, Madam or Sir, when can we enter? It's your right. Ask politely, no problem, right? And from the management perspective, it's our responsibility to ensure your safety, and also how to make sure that the research is not disrupted too much. So it goes both ways. So sometimes if the management is a bit like not too fast, then the student can always politely ask, you have the right, just email. You can just email the person in charge. Okay. Lack of computers and cameras to support. So yeah, nowadays, many are using phone instead of computers and cameras. Not everybody have the luxury to have computers and cameras, and it's also a problem. But at least you can use the phones, right? And we ask Allah, to leave this pandemic soon, inshallah. So brothers and sisters, none of us have been through this experience like this before. Not you, not me, not anybody in UK, US, or or in Africa. So we don't know what the future looks like. We hope, inshallah, like Dr. Bila was saying, next semester, next 2 semesters maybe, you'll be like normal anymore. For people, we can go to the class face to face. We can make dua. However, there is still not certain. So this can be unsettling, and inshallah we'll together will try to help each other to go through this situation, inshallah. Okay, so that's on the challenges, brothers and sisters, of this COVID pandemic, and how does that affect our research and our study. And the topic of this talk is on, how do we get our research going again, and how do we motivate ourselves. I will just share with you from my perspective. Maybe other lecturers, they are much better than me, and they can share better, better perspective. So today I will just share what I think. First of all, brothers and sisters, the most important thing is to go back of why you do your research, why you study. Why? Because that will be the internal motivation for you to go through this. People can give pat on the, we can give you libraries, we can give labs, we can give you everything in the world. But if inside you is not clear, it won't be sustainable and it won't be strong. The strongest motivation to me is the inner motivation of why you are doing this. So, and as a Muslim, we understood from the hadith by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Bukhari Muslim that the Prophet said, "Innamal a'malu binniyat wa innama likulli imri'in ma nawa," which means actions are according to intentions, and everyone will get what was intended. So the basic, in anything, if it's going to give ajr or reward from Allah, is the intention. So what is your intention of doing your research? You want to do it for the sake of, you want to get a piece of paper for the certificate, you want to get a high salary, because if you get a PhD you can get a better job, or or why? Okay, so for us Muslims, uh, when I say the strongest motivation is the motivation inside, and the motivation inside as a Muslim, it ties with our iman, it ties with our faith. So our faith will keep us going. And one of the biggest motivation that in the Quran, Allah keep on saying in the Quran, is the motivation of the hereafter, the motivation of Jannah, the paradise. So if that is our motivation, our intention here should relate to that, right? That's the highest of motivation. So why do you do research? Um, do you do research? I'm not saying that you don't do research because of the certificate or because of the the recognition. It's good, but for the higher purpose, when you do research or study, we do it for the sake of Allah. We do it if you do it for the sake of Allah, then you will get reward not only on this dunya, but you also get it from akhirah. Okay, you get both. So so and the hardship that you go through as a Muslim, right? This life is not a paradise. From a Muslim perspective, this life is the where we are supposed to, gain as much as reward from Allah, so that we can bring it to the hereafter. That's how we understand the worldview of the worldview of this dunya. So because of that, if you have that worldview, then this intention will tally. So if you do our research for the sake of Allah, and any hardship that you go through during this research will be rewarded by Allah. And the more hardship that you go through, the more reward that you get on the hereafter. So that's why everything is good. As a Muslim, there's another hadith the Prophet said is ajaib, it's like miracle, that everything is good for a Muslim, even though we in this pandemic. So going back to why we do the research is very important, because that will drive us through how do we perceive the research after this, inshallah. Okay, so always go back. So I want you to reflect on yourself. Why do you do this research? If you do it as a Muslim, if you do it for the sake of Allah, we need to be patient and keep doing it. If you do it for, I saw some non-Muslim over here in the list. If you're doing for your parents, your family, right? So you can look at you can like imagine the face of your mother or your parents, your family. Then that will give you motivation, right? So let us ponder upon our intention, and as a Muslim, let's purify our intention. In Islam, we say ikhlas. Try to purify our intention for the sake of Allah. So even though it's difficult, you will definitely, get the reward from Allah. It's okay even if your lab fails. You got, scolded by supervisor maybe. It's all good because Allah will give you rewards later on. You are not doing it for the sake of other people. You are doing for the sake of the higher being, which is the God. Okay. So this reminder of you do research, we will remind you so that you can do for, so that will remind you on the every step that you do is important. Another thing, brothers and sisters, let me ask you, I don't know, maybe you can answer here, but do you think your research is important or no?
Yes, madam. Very important.
Very important, right? So that's Shadat, right? Anybody else? I cannot see you, but I don't know. Anybody else? Anybody? But this is like the learning online. I like to have like two ways. The student will answer me. So it's okay.
We have chat says very important. Yes, very important. Yes, it is. So people are very important. Yes, everybody is like they get
Okay.
jumping in with the text.
Great. Thank you, brother, for reading it to me. Yes, the most important thing you need to understand, to feel that your research is important. And as I mentioned before, and why is it important? I think if you ask any one of us here who are doing research, not one single title will be the same, right? If it's the same, you will not be entitled to get your master's or PhD. So you won't get your degree. So it must be different. So every single research is very important. Important to who? What do you think? Important to who? Important to yourself?
For me,
Important
it's for the community.
important to the community? Good.
Yes.
So so if you look at the research, right, from many aspects, and it can be like the direct. So for example, it will be important to, if you do research on how does the parent handles PDPR during COVID, maybe that's a title. It's directly directly impacting the parents. Maybe also you do, like for me, my research is on the radiation hard electronics within the space. It's not on Earth, so the effect will be on the space where there are a lot of radiation over there. But still, it is very important, because if brothers and sisters, you don't do your research properly, or you na'uzubillah, you unethically change the output of your research, that will affect how the community will benefit or will get from your research. So each one of us, the topic are very important to our field. So and from the Islamic perspective, the way I look at it is a fardu kifayah. So in Islam we have fardu ain and fardu kifayah. Fardu kifayah is when the topic or any amal, any practice, which not everybody are doing it. Not everybody doing it. So for example, if you do research on radiation hard electronics in space, if you ask here, I think maybe one out of like 100 or 200 or 300 or 1,000 that will do that. So it's upon you to make sure that you completed the research successfully, so that others will benefit. So every research is important. If you don't think it's important, sometimes just to share with you, I did my PhD for 5 years. It's very long, and I go 5 years. I will tell you day in, day out. So it means that from Monday to Sunday, even Saturday, Sunday, I will go to the lab when I did my PhD. So I'm not encouraging that, but I'm telling you, it's with a long 5 years and that kind of, that kind of everyday activities, there'll be a time where you lose focus. Okay, you lose focus. You don't know why you are doing your research anymore, and you don't even feel that your research is important. Okay, there'll be times like that. Now, alhamdulillah, most of you say it's important. But brothers and sisters, the longer you do it, you may sometime, go through this stage. And when that time comes, then you need to have a time to yourself or discuss with the friends. Go back to your why you are doing this, and then discuss with your supervisor. If you cannot see, sometimes you are blank. You cannot see why is it important. Discuss with your supervisor and friends so that they can highlight to you why is it important. Okay, so every research is important, you should ask me, and it's our task. You have given the amanah, the responsibility to complete the research. So try your best, brothers and sisters, not only for your sake, for the sake of Allah, and this will benefit the community, inshallah. So and as I say, it's hard to stay motivated when you lose sight of your end goal. So for us, what is we need to this open to all of you. What is your end goal? What's your end goal? I just want to share my end goal. When I was doing my PhD, it was very tough. As I said, Saturday, Sunday for 5 years. I think along the 5 years, I only take 2 months of total of 2 months of holiday, except for Christmas. Even during Eid, I will go to the lab. Sometimes I will discuss with my supervisor, maybe I just give me 1 day off. So when it's too long and you lost sight of your end goal, my end goal at that time, I will tell you my personal experience. I studied in Sheffield at that time, and I always tell myself, I want to get this knowledge, so that I need to make sure I get this knowledge and I'm good at it, so that so that I can teach. I can come back to Malaysia and teach my fellow brothers and sisters, and they don't have to go to Sheffield anymore. They can just be in a Muslim or in their own country, in a Muslim country, to learn the same knowledge. Therefore, I have a big, I put on myself a big responsibility. I need to finish, and I need to make sure that I understand. It's not just to get a piece of paper. It's about understanding the subject. So, and also, and of course, and as a Muslim, because we are in International Islamic University, our core, the core of IIUM is actually Islam. So that's why whatever I say here will be relating to Islam, inshallah. So when as a Muslim, your end core or your end goal is actually Jannah in life. Whether your research, your family, your most end goal is paradise from Allah, right? So why it gets very tough during my PhD, I'm not saying maybe there'll be another session to share how I go through my PhD, but it wasn't easy. So but I thank Allah now for that, for being the hardship is the one that mold me today. So, and I remember myself when I was like being in this very difficult situation, I told myself, Ya Allah, if I had to crawl to finish this research, I will do it for your sake. So that is the internal motivation. At that time, nobody is pushing me anymore. You push your own self and you do it. So you need to have this inner core that why you're doing it. That will give you a strong motivation to finish it, wherever it is. And even brothers and sisters in Islam, if you die, na'uzubillah, but if you die in the cause of seeking knowledge, and Rasulullah said Jannah is for you. So we are doing jihad here. So when you do research, you study, it's not something like, relax. No, it's a jihad, brother and sisters. It's something that you have to struggle. And when you struggle, at the end, the reward is very, very big. So it's just, so we need to like shift our mindset so that we can mold this internal motivation for us to push. So because there's somebody who said to push higher. You don't know how to push higher, try to look within yourself first. Try to find yourself. Okay, all right, next. I don't know how many slides. Okay, now let's go to the practical tips, brothers and sisters. I will share with you some practical tips. Hopefully, it will be beneficial to you. And if you have any more by the end of this talk, you are welcome to share. We will have some session of Q&A and sharing, inshallah. Number 1, set small daily goals. This pandemic is already nearly 2 years, and I have students like nearly 1 year, nothing happens. Like as if the 1 year gone just like that. So why this happen? Okay, why this happen? Number one, we overwhelmed with everything. However, if we do this set small daily goals, we will advance. Maybe the advance is not big, but we keep on advancing. The most important, brothers and sisters, is istiqamah. Okay, in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, the best of amal, the best of practice is the one that you are doing it consistently with istiqamah, and that's what Allah loves. Allah doesn't love big chunk and suddenly finish. The one Allah loves is you do a bit and bit, but continuously. Okay, so this is also set daily goals is also within Islam. So what you can do, brothers and sisters, because these things are, sometimes it can be common sense, sometimes it doesn't hit your mind that you can do this. Okay, because I noticed some student, the one who lose like 1 year or so, and I didn't realize as a supervisor, I didn't realize that the student doesn't know this. I will tell you from supervisor perspective, say, student should know. They are already adult, they have children, so maybe they should know, but maybe that's a wrong assumption to make. So that's why I volunteer to give this talk today. Hopefully it will benefit others, so that we won't go through the same problem again. So number 1 is set small daily goals. Setting daily goals can help you to be as productive as possible, but be realistic. So you need to have a short list of manageable tasks for every day. That's in the challenges that we do the Mentimeter just now. Some said you already have the timetable, the schedule, but you cannot follow it. It's okay. Later on, I have a slide on that. But Alhamdulillah, good thing is you have the list. Okay, so number one, have a list, but make sure it's realistic. Don't say one in the list, write journal Q1, Web of Science Q1 in one day. That is not realistic. Okay, maybe the realistic will be write just the points for for the skeleton for the journal Q1 for one day. Skeleton, okay. Or skeleton, if it's too big, concentrate just on the result chapter or just on the experimental chapter. So be like cut into smaller chunk. Okay, you have a big picture, cut into smaller chunk so that you can focus on smaller goals each day. This can help you stay on track. So, but and if it doesn't work, Bismillah and start another day. Bismillah and ask Allah for another day. Ask Allah for another day. But it's our responsibility to ensure that we have plan. Okay, and make sure it's realistic. The most problematic is when your goals are not realistic, you will feel depressed for not able to finish it. So be realistic. How much is comfortable for you? Try comfortable. If you can push further a little bit as we go on. Okay, that is some practical steps. Take small step and reward yourself. Okay, as we said just now, small goal, take small step and reward yourself. Research is a long journey. Some research can be 2 years, some research can be 3 years, some be 4 years. In my case, it's 5 years. 5 years. It can be a long journey, and therefore we need to have a strong. It's like a marathon. It's not a sprint, brothers and sisters. So, in order to run marathon, you need to have strong stamina. Okay, and then because we are human, so it's good if you can reward yourself. If nobody else reward you, maybe your supervisor. It depends on supervisor. Some supervisor, oh mashallah, brother sister, you're super girl, super brother, super sister. Some supervisors are like that. Some supervisors say, okay, good, just to share, I'm that kind of supervisor. So I was trained like that. My supervisor never really praised me a lot, but I find ways to reward myself. Yeah, so you reward yourself. So for example, you finish to do something, go and celebrate. I don't know, eat ice cream. That's what I do when I was young. So you can find whatever things that can reward you. So set smaller milestone. Another thing, when you have that small goals, so I think all of you know how to plan your research. That's maybe that's be another talk, how to plan your research. But what part of planning your research is you need to have milestone. Okay, milestone. So you have big milestones. So you have this big milestone. Sometimes it's too big that you feel that that you will never achieve this. So therefore, try to make from the big milestones some smaller milestone. And when you achieve this milestone, go and celebrate. You don't have to tell other people, just for you. So, and then celebrate and be thankful, because it's from Islamic perspective, it's from Allah's help that you're able to finish the milestone, right? So but for yourself, you can go and celebrate. So try to make smaller milestone for yourself, and this is good for the research planning, right? Because sometimes some supervisor want to see your milestone. Some supervisor doesn't. He or she, like they say, I don't care your milestone. I just know that you in the smaller milestone. I just want to concentrate on the milestone, the bigger milestone. So it's okay, whatever it is. But the smaller milestone is for yourself, to guide you along this long journey. It's a long journey, brothers. So we need, and sisters, we need to plan it properly, inshallah. And this process will itself be motivating, inshallah. There's a note here. The milestone needs to be revised from time to time, especially during COVID time. So even grant proposal, we have milestone, and how many times you can ask my student, we change the milestone, date, because during COVID there are many uncertainty. So you put milestone. I want to, for example, write Q1 in 1 year. Now 6 months, for example, right? Q1, Tier 1, Web of Science, Corpus, Index Journal, social science, you may want to write index journal. So you have your milestone. But because of not able to access the libraries, not able to access the lab, so you need to be ihsan to yourself. Okay, you need to be kind to yourself. You need to adjust the milestone realistically and reasonably, and that is flexibility. And whatever we do, research even, to the students and so to the supervisor, there must be a little bit of flexibility. You cannot be rigid. If it rigid, it's easily break. So you need to have a bit of flexibility, so that you can maneuver through. So whatever the milestone that you put, don't feel shy to revise it. Make sure you are honest to yourself. When you revise the milestone, you can lie, to your supervisor, you can lie to other people, but you cannot lie to yourself and to God, so to Allah. So try to be honest and revise it according what do you think you can achieve, inshallah. I don't know what's the time now. Expect imperfection. This is very important, brothers and sisters. I was talking to one of my friends, and sometimes there are many different types of type of students. There are students who say, I just don't care, it's okay if I take 10 years to finish this masters, I'm okay. There are some students like that. There, the other extreme, there are students like, no, I need to finish in this 1 year. I have set my mind that I need to finish in this 1 year. By hook or by crook, I have to finish in this 1 year. I need to get 2 Q1 journal, 2 conference. I need to finish my thesis and everything. Okay, this is the other extreme, the high expectation extreme. Okay, brothers and sisters, we should be in Islam. Islam taught us to be wasatiyah, which means we need to be in the middle way. You cannot be extreme into past. Islam teaches this. Therefore, even during the expectation of your research, also try to be wasatiyah. I know for those all of you who are doing masters and PhD, you are all excellent students. Allah has chosen you to do masters and PhD. You are not just anybody. You are the one who Allah has handpicked to be doing research for the sake of Allah, for the beneficial of the society and community. And therefore, you are the cream. Normally, masters and PhD are the cream from the society. So naturally, you will have high expectation, those who do masters and PhD. However, brothers and sisters, to have high expectation, high motivation is good. However, when a conflict arises, when you have any problem, whatever high motivation is it can be there. You can have this high good motivation. However, as a Muslim, we need to also tally this, with whatever qadarullah, whatever Allah has decided for you. Sometimes we want to get an A for all our research, our courses, right? We study like crazy, we don't talk to other people, we don't care anymore, we just study, and we hope to get an A. Suddenly we got an, I don't know, B plus or A minus. Then we got broken. And for other people, A minus is good already, but for you, because you are aiming at A, you got broken. And sometimes the broken is broken and cannot be fixed again. And that is not. And that is not, that is not from Islam. In Islam, in our arkan iman, from the pillars of iman, we believe in the ghaib, the things in the future, qadar and qadar from Allah. So even though we have high expectation, we also believe that whatever Allah has given us after we did our best is the best for us. So therefore, with our high expectation, we need to expect imperfections. Okay, we are human. There are things that beyond our capacity or capability, right? And when that comes, we accept whatever comes, because sometimes there are unattainable goals or unrealistic expectation, or unexpected situations like COVID. So we should put this in our life. We need to embrace it, basically, right? Not to be too relaxed. Some go to the other extreme. Relax lah, COVID. Because of COVID, we can blame everything on the COVID. It shouldn't be that way as well. We should try our best in this situation, in the same time hope that it will become better. Okay, so it's a balance actually. So what you didn't see in the publication. So when you read, wow, these friends, wrote Q1, that friend wrote Q2, this friend wrote Q3, their friends had like 14 journal papers, So when you see this publication, you only see the end result. You don't see the failed experiments, the mistake, the hypothesis that led nowhere. There are many people, the research that go nowhere. So this is part of life, brothers and sisters. Research is actually teaching you about life. When I did my 5 years of my PhD, I cannot thank Allah more for the hardship and everything that I go through, because that is the one that I'm now, because of the experience that I go through. So this all are good. Maybe during your research, you don't feel like that. But be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Never try your best to see it positively, and don't don't blame Allah during the way. Okay, and if you cannot, if you so it's about like a battle inside yourself. That's why after this I will go through. It's important to take care of the iman. Okay, and researchers encounter failed experiments, non-statistically significant result, conflicting data, and more often than they would like to admit. Yes. So if you ask a true researcher everywhere and around the world, they will go through this, and that's normal, brothers and sisters. That's normal. It's okay to fail one or two experiment. It's okay. You learn through it and be patient. I just want to share my supervisor, Professor John, when I was in Sheffield. I remember he told me, Fazlin, I was young at that time. So Fazlin, he said, to do a PhD, you don't have to be smart. I say, really? So I asked my supervisor, is it really? But you are smart. No, I'm not smart. He's a professor. He's actually very smart. So he said, no, I'm not smart. The thing is about when you want to be a successful researcher is number one, or to complete your PhD, is for not giving up. And that's the key. Even if you are less smart, if you are consistent doing it, if it's istiqamah doing it, maybe it will take longer than others, but you will get it. And even though you are smart and you are not patient, istiqamah, you will break down and you cannot finish your PhD. PhD is about being resilient throughout the journey. So resilience includes, encountering these failures. So expecting that some things will not go perfectly as planned can prepare you to adapt to your situation. So sometimes I will ask my student, what is your plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D? This plan B, C, D is when what we expect doesn't go perfectly. So as a researcher, as a student also, you need to have this plan B, C, D. My father taught me this, wherever we go, whatever things that we do, my father will say, what's your plan B? I say, okay, so whenever I talk to him, I need to plan myself to already, tell him what's my plan B, C, and D. And actually it's very good even for your research. You need to expect things which are not planned, and how do you adapt to the situation. Okay. Look beyond the bench. Another practical advice that I can share over here is look beyond the bench. It's tempting to put all your focus in one basket. For example, you just say, my life, my research is my life now, nothing else. Okay, so that is very tempting. You think, okay, therefore if I do that, I will finish by 1 year. Okay, brothers and sisters, as I mentioned, research is about life. You see studying, that's why Rasulullah said to the path of knowledge is the path to going to Jannah, right? Because it's not only the knowledge, it's everything that comes on the journey of getting a knowledge, your akhlaq, being patient, istiqamah, everything there, being humble, is all parts of you going to Jannah. So when you say it's a package, so don't just say try not to just say I want to do research. There are many other things that you can enrich yourself while you're doing your research. For example, this COVID-19, I cannot go to the lab, therefore I'm doomed. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, you can just change it or say, okay, I will try to see what I can do without the lab, Okay, I know it's difficult, but try to like squeeze your head and say, what can I do before, or what can I plan? As soon as I go to the lab, wow, you plan everything already, right? So you don't have to think, you just execute when the time comes. And also you can plan during this COVID-19, maybe you cannot go to the lab. You should enhance your other skills. You know, brothers and sisters, if you are talking about the world now, they don't want employee who's only like good in the certificate. They want somebody who know how to think. They want to see somebody who able to speak nicely, communicate effectively, and they want to know, oh, how good is your writing. You know, sometimes some profession needs a lot of writing, so you won't get everything in the research. Unfortunately, you can, but you can enhance it by going to many other talks. For example, IEEE is doing it, the Kuliah is doing it, there are other Perintis is doing it, and many other NGOs are doing it, the universities are doing it. Go and enhance your soft skills, right? Because that is very important if you want to be successful, inshallah, when you are working. So go to so that's why don't just focus, live the life, enhance yourself in many aspects. And then adopt a more multifaceted view of your career. So I said, go to any trainings, whether it's worldly trainings or the religious training. Also, this is the time, brothers and sisters, when you start working. I know you are very busy, so yes. But when you are working, you'll be even busier. You know, even though I took my five years PhD, was really tough. Even at night, my supervisor will call me. I will bring out my lab book and then discuss with him the analysis of my result at that day. Even though that rigorousness, when I working is more consuming of your life. Therefore, you don't have much time to build yourself. So while you are doing masters or PhD, brothers and sisters, always try to find anything that can enhance you, especially from the Islamic perspective, because you'll have less chance when you start working. So while doing now, there are many in IIUM, there are many classes, training. You can learn Arabic language, you can learn any languages. Go, okay. And finally, volunteer. Okay, why do I say volunteer here? Because when I look at students, right, the postgraduate students, no, madam, I want to concentrate just on my study, madam. I don't want to volunteer. This will the thinking from the student side. If I volunteer, this will take my time from my research. Therefore, I will not finish my research on time. Therefore, I will not fulfill my goal. Just to share with you, I think that is not what they call it, not a holistic way of looking at it. During my PhD, although it's 5 years and the day in even night, but I will squeeze time for volunteering, and I thank Allah for that, because the volunteering are the one who are the one that makes me going through the 5 years. If I don't do volunteer at that time, I think I will break down. Can you imagine every day see quantum dot laser, the result, like seeing the same result for 1,000 times, day in, day out? As a human being, you are not a robot. So you have this social element to you. So we need to embrace this social element and go and volunteer. When you volunteer, number one, you contribute to others. It will bring a good feeling to yourself, right? And in Islam, you get a lot of reward. And the doa from the one that you do volunteer, that doa will help you to go through your research. That's how I believe. That's why I volunteer here, for this IEEE, hoping that you all will make doa for me, so I can, sustain my life from your doa, inshallah. So volunteer is very good for yourself and for the benefit of society as well. And you will gain a lot of skills through volunteering. There are many skills that hidden inside the volunteering, the planning, the everything. It will give you a more holistic person, inshallah. So try not shun away from volunteering. Go and find anywhere. So you should volunteer yourself anywhere to do this what do you call it, skill, to a volunteering skill. Work smart. I don't know what's the time now.
Time, madam. We have still time.
Uh, you
You
have
can take 10, 15 minutes more.
only 10, 15 minutes more. Okay, brother, you should tell me. Okay, I
No, no,
have.
it's okay. It's okay. We have until 12. We can.
Um,
We are. I'm just reserving the 20 minutes time for quick Q&A,
yeah, yeah.
but you can
Q&A.
still continue. We are just 11:20 now.
Okay, okay. Because Q&A is very important to me. I think it's
Yeah.
better. I would like to hear from you more than me speaking. So just I will skip this very fast. Work smart, and brothers and sisters. You know, some people work hard, some people work smart. I also was advised by my supervisor before. He say because I don't know Malay. Say majority here are Malay, Malaysians, but also from Muslim countries. We most of us are working hard, right? So I remember when I did my PhD, I was working hard. You know, I worked very hard. You know why? Because I don't want my supervisor, which is British, to see me Malaysian and as a Muslim are being lazy and and stupid. I don't want that. I want because I'm the only a Muslim over there. So I want them to see that actually Muslim are working hard. We are good people because this is what Islam is. But I was working hard, and then he was saying to me, Fazin, why don't you follow? Can you see this Andrew? There's another PhD student. He's a British. Say he doesn't have you can see he's relaxing because why? He works smart. I said, what do you mean? How do I work smart? I remember I asked this question to my supervisor, and he said, work smart means you plan. Work smart means you plan. I repeat, work smart means you plan your work. You don't just go and like dive in. My at that time I was like, you have some idea, you dive in. No, you work through the whole plan, then you do it. Then you will make less mistakes and you shorten the time. So that's working smart in a nutshell. Okay, another practical tips over here. Try Pomodoro study session. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. In Italian. So how does this work? I know some of you mentioned about the time management. Just now, I have a student also having a time management problem, and you know there's some in the out there that says women can think multiple at one time, right? Have you heard this? And then men can only focus one at one time. In a way, it's true. However, but even though I was listening to another talk on this, even though women can think many, it's like you can see many screens at one time. Women can see many screens at one time and then look at it interchangeably. But actually, even many things at one time also, at one time we focus very fast. The time that we switch between each screen is a very fast. But at one time, we only look at one. So this Pomodoro study session will maybe help those who cannot focus, who difficult to focus. My supervisor before was a man, but he taught me how to shift. It means that as a man you can do it. It doesn't mean because I'm a man I cannot do multiple things. No, you can, but you need to learn the skill to focus and then shift, focus, shift, focus, shift. So one way of this is just one way that the study is saying that why don't you try 25 minutes working and 5 minutes resting. Working means you focus in one. So you focus, for example, experimental details, 25 minutes. Focus on it, put your mind through it, and then 5 minutes rest, do whatever it is, and then another 25 minutes if you want to focus on that thing or another small thing. So that will help you to focus, right? So in one day, you can have many sessions of this Pomodoro technique. So if 25 minutes doesn't work for you, you can make it 30 minutes, you make it 20 minutes, up to you. The most important is, so you are telling yourself at this time, you're focusing on this. So if you have PDPR, for example, with the students, your kids and everything, so maybe you can say, okay, maybe find a 25 minutes, just focus on that. The rest, try to, at least you have 25 minutes of, useful of the day. Useful of the day. So rather than by the end of the day, say, I'm nothing. So it's better to do istiqamah, as I said just now, small things, but for continuously, inshallah. And in the class, because maybe we have some undergraduate students and masters who are going to class, and I know also lecturers also here, but this from the perspective of a student, try to, if you view the lecture or class passively, oh no, this lecturer is talking to herself or himself, so boring, so, and the monotonous maybe, it can very be easily to switch off. Suddenly you lost him. So therefore, one way to overcome this, try to take part on the exercise and discussion. So when the lecturer say, oh, do you understand? Then you just force yourself, say, Sir Bilal, actually I don't understand this, how does this laser work without or certain. So try to, push yourself to ask questions so that you be in. It's forcing yourself, brothers and sisters, especially the Malay, we tend to like keep quiet, right? But for the sake of you, you want to learn, you need to push yourself to ask questions so that you focus. Otherwise, you keep quiet. Sometimes I will tell myself, I will say, okay, I need to ask at least one question. So I will think like crazy to read what one question I need to ask, just to push myself so that I don't sleep, and my mind keep fresh. So you can also use this method in order for you to like focus in the class, inshallah. And I know it's not easy, but try. If you cannot talk, just type it pun okay. This is very important. So another practical tips for research: communicate with your supervisor. I know this not very hijab, but it's okay. Communicate with your supervisor. It's vital. Whatever you do during research, there must be a good communication with your supervisor. Good communication, not breaking down communication. I always tell my student, I remember my father told me, my father did his PhD too, and I remember he told me, he said, Fazlin, the most important thing, and also this coming from also another professor, Prof. Haris also said this, the most important thing during research is the supervisor. The most important thing is the supervisor, not the topic. So I know it seems like weird, but actually the supervisor will determine whether you pass your degree or not. Okay, this is on research. Therefore, number one, choose the best supervisor that you can. Number two is, choose the supervisor. But if you already chosen that supervisor, try to have effective communication with them. So make sure because supervisor, another thing, sometimes the student forgets, and also the lecturer forgets that students are human beings. Sometimes, we it's like we label student, but student is actually human being. And another thing that students forgot, that the supervisor is also a human being. I always tell my students, so meaning human beings are not perfect. Okay, human being, your supervisor is not perfect. There are many flaws as a human being. However, and the student also not perfect as a supervisor. We need to understand the student also not perfect. So both are human being. Therefore, we need to know, to have a good communication, to get to know, so that whatever flaw that the person has, we try to understand them and accommodate. Okay, so but the most important for a supervisor to understand your situation. If you don't communicate, you think you assume that your supervisor will know, then that will not work. Do not assume. Yeah, just tell, be honest, be polite, tell your supervisor what your situation is. Okay, maybe it will take not once or many trials to talk to your supervisor, but it's okay. Keep on trying. Be patient and istiqomah in explaining to your supervisor. And us, the supervisor, we should try our best to understand our student as well. But here, maybe there'll be, for how to communicate with supervisor, there's another long talk, so I won't go through that. Inshallah, you can go to read how to communicate effectively with your supervisor. Now, the next part is, how is your mental health state? So now we understand, we know the challenges. We are, inshallah, will practice the practical reasons. One of the important thing as being a human being is our mental health. Okay, this mental health includes our emotional, psychological, social well-being, how we are as a human being. It affects how we think, feel, and act, and determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. So our mental health will determine how we handle stress. Do we like break down, explode, or we just like able to keep calm, or how do we relate to others? Sometimes we cannot relate at all to others. Maybe because our mental health are not not allowing it that, and it will affect our making choices. So just another exercise. I want you. Can you please go to Mentimeter here? Do I need to copy this? In one word, just in one word, brothers and sisters, I want you to describe your mental health now. I mean, your current mental health. Just in one word, describe your current mental health. You just type the word, one word. Can you do that? So, do you want me to paste this here?
No need, madam. We can do the QR code, but if you want, you can paste.
Okay, because maybe some people they are not they are using their handphone, so they cannot.
Sure, 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 sure.
All right, so we have it. I have it there. Can you please help to answer that? Okay, and I will share your answers. Just one word. Think of one word that describes your mental health. Okay, present. So I need to share screen. Okay, the same word you use, it become bigger. So you have release, interesting, confused, scare, well, cool, very good, struggling, sluggish, avoidant, numb, supervisor. Why your mental health now is supervisor? Interesting. Nervous, calm, well, alhamdulillah, fine, okay, depression, stagnant, puzzle, excellent. Okay, alhamdulillah. Some of you are very excellent in mental, alhamdulillah. So peaceful, nothing. You don't have any mental health. When you say nothing, worried, best, cool, love. Just reading the stress, loss, inconsistent. So the bigger the word means it's more you so much are confused. Interesting. I wonder why you are confused. I don't understand this. When you say confused, you're confused of what? Confused of your life or confused of the where to go? Maybe you can help me to answer this later. All right. So breakdown. So you're already going to break down. Burnout. Interesting. Burnout. I will share you my experience of burnout if you have time. I also gone through this burnout in the first phase of the COVID. Okay. So alhamdulillah, I think your mental health generally, if you look here, are more on the red flag rather than the what do you call it, from the positive side. Which is is normal, brothers and sisters. It's okay, and inshallah we'll make dua that all of you will feel better, and hopefully I will share with you from the holistic view how inshallah how to we overcome this. Okay, so let's stop this. Let's stop sharing. Already 11:36. Ya Allah. Okay.
It's okay, madam. You can take time. We have until 12. We can take questions like 10 minutes.
All right.
Last 10 minutes, we can take questions.
See,
Because it's a very important topic and we need to address all these things. We cannot leave this unfinished.
yes. Okay, I will try to go faster. That's a
Yes, sir.
problem, with the lecturer. You give a mic and you cannot stop. Okay, so I'll go very fast. So, brothers and sisters, our mental health is very important as a human being, and we need to take care of it. So, how some practicals of to take care of your mental health? Carve out time in your day for work and relaxation. So, I know you want to work very hard. I know you have a lot of expectation, high goals, but try to find from time to time, time that you can relax for a healthy work-life balance at home. Maybe in the evening, maybe only like 10 minutes, half an hour, but make sure it's in your schedule. If you don't schedule it out, if you don't plan it out, you will suddenly the day lost, and you just like by the end of the day you're very tired. Okay, I know it's difficult, but try to, if it cannot be half an hour, even 10 minutes, take time for relaxation. And for us Muslim, one of the relaxation is doing the prayer. You know, masa solat tu is supposed to be our relaxation time. Try to focus, khusyuk in our solat, so that that solat can be our relaxation time. Most of the time our solat very fast, right? We don't, we end up focus and khusyuk. But you know, one way, take that time as the relaxing time. Put yourself to Allah during the time. Or if you find other ways for relaxation, go and do it. Another thing, schedule virtual get together with friends. This is very important now, brothers and sisters.
You are
This,
not presenting, madam. Your
huh?
screen is, we cannot see your screen.
Ya
You cannot,
Allah, you cannot see. Oh, why did you tell me? Okay,
just now,
just
because
now.
after you switched, you did not shared.
Alright, alright. How did? Okay, thank you for telling me. I
No
forgot.
problem.
See, when I share a screen, I cannot see. Alright, where is it? Okay, thank you for telling me. Right, can you see now? Yes.
Yes, going through. Yeah, we can see it.
Alhamdulillah. So this is the, so carve out time in your day for work. Make sure you have some relaxation time. Go anywhere that will relax you. I know we cannot go to the beach or you know to the forest, but find ways that will give you relaxation. The best relaxation is actually go to the nature. Doing research. You need this. You need this relaxation. Otherwise, you cannot think. So try to find times. Try to find time to go to these places that can give you relaxation. Okay, another important thing, brothers and sisters, is this get together with friends. I know it's difficult. Everybody are on isolation of their own. However, so especially if you do research is a very focused. PhD even more. You know, masters maybe a few can one topic, but for PhD it's very focused. And nobody, it's like you when you tell your friend will never understand what you're doing. The only person that might understand is your supervisor. Okay, so it can be very lonely. As I said, one challenge is loneliness, right? So brothers and sisters, not only you are lonely, your friend is also lonely. Many people are lonely. So why don't you can take initiative? So to ask, okay, why not, like for example, IEEE can make like a coffee station when you just every the you can make brothers sisters up to you, you know, maybe the sisters together, you can have a talk chat on your progress report, you know, just when you relieve yourself, you talk, and then you see, oh, your friend also having this problem, and then your friend say, oh, don't worry, you know, somebody have a human touch on you. Maybe your supervisor also having mental breakdown, so your supervisor doesn't have time to look at your emotional well-being. So you can have friends. Okay, the best is the friends that are in your situation, what PG friends, because if you even tell your spouse, if you're married, your husband never done the master or PhD, your husband will not understand what is, how does doing a PhD will look like. So the best is try to find somebody in your situation so you can understand each other. But schedule, you need to plan this as well, brothers and sisters, because this is very important as a, you know, to be sejahtera or to be a holistic, to be a human being. We need friends, and go and reach out to your friends. Don't, I know everybody are working alone now. No, I think maybe some society can do this, so that you have a platform to just speak. You just speak your heart out. Say, and maybe the sisters among the sisters, that you can laugh together, cry together. You know, there are times doing PhD is normal, or my research is normal to cry. So I will tell my experience. So it's okay. It's okay. It's part of the learning process. Okay. Identify real and virtual places that you can meet people. So this, I went through this, is now anywhere online or wherever platform you can. So brothers and sisters, prioritize your mental health, exercise. If you have time, please exercise. Eat balanced meal. Sometimes you don't eat. My students sometimes come to me not eating. Say, why you're not eating? Eating is important. Okay. So if you're physical, you don't handle your physical, your brain, your mental capacity, and your heart cannot work. So first we need to take care of our physical, so that the mental and the, you know, and the heart can be nourished. And make sure you sleep properly. I'm going very fast, so because we don't have time. Limit yourself to reading pandemic. So not try to read too much of pandemic related news, because this will make you feel depressed more. And we don't have time. What else do you do? Maybe you can share in the chat over there. What else do you do to you know, so that other people can benefit from you? So other people can follow. What do you do to improve your mental health state? Brothers and sisters, it's okay to be not to be productive in times of uncertainty. It's okay if you cannot publish Q1 in 6 months. But if 3 years you cannot, or 2 years you cannot, something wrong still. Okay. So it's okay for a short period. But however, if it's prolonged and recurring many times, you need to be alert and you need to find solution, brother. So if it's a short period, it's okay. Be what do you call it? Be rahmah to yourself. Have ihsan on yourself. Be merciful to your own self. Sometimes we be merciful to others. We do ihsan to others, but we don't do ihsan to ourselves. So we need to do ihsan to others and ihsan to ourselves, to be nice and treat ourselves with mercy, right? So it's okay if you feel that yourself are verging of the too much anxiety. I mean, be merciful. Say so it's okay, but try to seek for help. So and accept the reality of the situation. Wherever the situation is, we believe everything is good. We believe everything is good and try to see it from the positive perspective. You cannot see it. You cannot see. It's like blind to you. Everything seems negative. Talk to your friends. Then your friends can help you to find another 100 points why is it positive, right? You need to go and find a positive friend. Don't go to the friend that keep on, who have like 1,001 negative feelings. Try to find friends, who can see the positive side, right? And so once you know the reality that you don't have, then you shouldn't avoid it. If you avoid it, then the problem will not go away and it become worse. So try to accept reality and listen to your emotion and concern. Listen to yourself. Are you already in the breakdown situation? Are you burnt out? If you burnt out, it's okay to take a few limited times. So you need to put a limit to yourself. So say, I'm burnt out. I want to take 1 whole week off. My supervisor, I'm really sorry. You say nice to your supervisor. I'm really sorry. I think I'm burnt out. Can I take a 1 week off? I will not, just to get myself back. So you can do that. So and then the 1 week, try to get yourself back, relax, and inshallah you can bounce back again. So click me. Now, this is the most important part. Okay, that part is all. Now I want to talk about the holistic nature from the Islamic perspective. And in IIUM, as I mentioned, our core is Islam, and everything around everything hovers around Islam and Iman. So during this mental health and issues and this pandemic issues and this whole very pressing research issues, let's go back to what Allah says. Okay, let's go back to what Allah says. Surah Al-Fathu, ayat 4. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Huwallazi anzala as-sakinata fi qulubil mu'minin liyazdadu imanan ma'a imanihim walillahi juludus samawati wal ard wa kana Allahu aliman hakima. Which means He, Allah, is the one who has given tranquility, sakina. Okay, so when we talk about mental health, it's not about being happy. It's about feeling sakina. It's about feeling peace, tranquility in the heart. So Allah, who gives this tranquility as a Muslim, is not you. It's not your mother. It's not your supervisor. It's not anybody, or not the university. The one who gives you tranquility is Allah, the one and only. So if we need to understand this, that's why if we understand this, then our actions need to go accordingly. So Allah is the one who gives tranquility into our hearts of the believers. So if you are a believer, Allah will put the tranquility so that your faith will increase in addition to their faith. So your faith will keep on increasing. So this tranquility, this peace has very strong relation to the iman. Strong relation to iman. So if you want this tranquility, we should look back to our iman. And to Allah belongs to the armies of the heaven and earth. And Allah has made it very clear that whatever junudus samawati wal ard, even if you do a biotech, right, the virus that you measure is also junudus samawati wal ard, is the soldiers, the armies of Allah. Even though you do semiconductor, your semiconductor die that you do, it's also material created by Allah. So to Allah belong all this. And wa kana Allahu aliman hakima, and Allah is knowing, wise. So tranquility is from Allah. That's number one that we need to establish. Number two is remembrance. So how do we get this tranquility from as a Muslim? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Surah Ar-Ra'd ayat 28, which means those who believe. So again, believe. So very much on the tranquility, it covers the heart. When it comes to the heart, it has very much related to the iman, to the belief, to the faith. And to those who believe and whose hearts find peace in the remembrance of Allah, look, it is in the remembrance of Allah alone that the heart really find peace. Tatma'innu qulub, tatma'innul qulub. So if you really want to find peace, find it through remembrance of Allah. How is your relationship with Allah? How khushu is our salah, your prayer? How ikhlas, how clean is your heart? Okay, these all things will affect your peace, your inner peace. So that's another thing that we need to put in mind. And finally, this is Surah An-Nisa ayat 32. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Wala tatamannaw ma faddalallahu bihi ba'dukum ala ba'd. للرجال نصيب مما اكتسبوا وللنساء نصيب مما اكتسبن واسألوا الله من فضله إن الله كان بكل شيء عليما. Which means that, and wish not for the things in which Allah has made some of you to excel others. For men there is reward for what they have earned, and for women there is reward for what they have earned. And ask Allah of His bounty, surely Allah is ever all-knower of everything. So the reason why I bring this ayah is, sometimes we feel down, depressed, when we look at other people, they see this person, my friend, got 14 journal papers already published. I have a student who say something like that. Madam, look at my friend here, so and some people, they are like, you can see that with many things you compare. But what Allah says do not wish for the thing that Allah has made some of you to excel others. Everybody, Allah has given the right amount of risk. Whatever Allah gives to you is the best for you. Yes, you have to improve it, and that is part of Islam, to do tawakkul, to work on it. But you don't be jealous of others. Try not to compare yourself much. Compare yourself. I always compare myself with myself. I don't compare myself with others, because others, there are many variables that other people has that I don't have. So always compare yourself to yourself, because Allah has said so. Okay, so be a Muslim first. To end this, brothers and sisters, have sabar, patient in Allah. Allah says the one who are victory are the one who have sabar. So during this research process in this COVID-19, we need to ask Allah for have patience. And patience means resilience as well through this. And if you cannot get it, ask Allah for it, like the other ayah before. And zikir, increase your zikir, your remembrance of Allah. Do, instead of like you bomb out with everything, try to put a schedule to yourself. Maybe say a lot more of La ilaha illallah, subhanallah. Remember Allah in much more during this COVID compared to other time. Al-Quran. So don't forget, brothers and sisters, to read Quran. Maybe some of you, I don't know, maybe if you don't know how to read Quran, go and learn during this COVID-19. If you know how to read Quran, increase the recitation of the Quran during this time. And don't forget a lot of dua. We believe as a Muslim, nothing in this world will happen if it's not due to what Allah has ordained it to happen. Everything will happen due to Allah. So Allah can change anything in a split second if Allah wants to. So do a lot of dua, tawakkal and rada. Be thankful to Allah whatever situation you have, and ask Allah for it to be better, and keep on improving your relationship with Allah. So mostly, as we know, just this important point I want to put is Muslims are not superhuman, students are not superhuman, supervisors are not superhuman. We are all just human being, normal human being. However, when Allah gives us anything conflicting on us, Allah knows exactly that you can go through it. And then we believe, but we need to keep on improvising ourselves, adapting ourselves in this situation. And if you cannot cope, brothers and sisters, there always help. So meaning that if you still and you feel depressed, you think you have mental health issues, please make appointment with IIUM counseling service. In our university, we have a counseling service. You can make appointment online. It's free of charge. I'm sure other universities also have that. It's not for those who are crazy to go counseling service. It's for everybody. I've been there once as a staff. I just want to talk to somebody that don't know my problem, and then it's quite interesting, the session. So just have a try. It's free. So just go, just have a talk, just a chat with them on your issues, and maybe from there will be solution, inshallah. So innamal usri yusra fa innamal usri yusra. So verily with every difficulty there is relief, and verily with every difficulty there is relief. And this is a promise from Allah, the creator of the universe. Say whatever difficulty that you go through now, inshallah, definitely there will be a relief. There will be a good thing. Allah will make it easy for you in the future, inshallah. So that's all from me. So you can have a question and answer session.
Thank you very much,
Assalamualaikum,
madam.
ma'am.
We uh, we are we are very
May I ask
thankful for.
question?
Yes, please, sister, just a minute. We are very thankful to you, madam, for the insightful and awakening. Like I would say that inspirational, spiritually, we are awakening.
It's
So
echoing. I think why is it echoing?
I don't know for what reason.
Okay, go on, brother.
Yeah. So thank you very much for giving us the direction for how we can revert back to our academic ways, and we can enhance our concentration and social, and which we have been facing because of the pandemic. I won't take, because it's a very informative session, and I have taken a lot of notes from that, because even me myself as a COVID, one who suffered COVID and got cut out for months from my studies, and then went into the black hole of how to do and what to do. I'm still recovering and trying my best, thankfully to my peers who are helping me out. And that's why we put up this kind of talk for everyone who can get benefited from it. So without wasting any more time, I would open the floor for questions. I would quote the messages which have been given at the end of the talk, some of the very good messages which were shared by fellow friends. So I guess so one of the sisters were willing to ask questions. Sister, you have 2 minutes to speak.
Thank you so much, brother. I just wanted to ask that how to maintain effective communication with a supervisor, because it has a very good impact on mental health. So how to maintain effective communication with
Thank
supervisor?
you very much, sister. Just kindly mute.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Mahfuza, for that question. How to maintain effective communication? Okay. Number one, as I mentioned before, your supervisor is a human being. Number one. Number two, you need to have some human skills in order to deal with your supervisor. So number one, you need to get to know your supervisor, what your supervisor like and dislike. Different supervisors have different, different upbringing and different, attributes. So number one is to get to know. If you don't know, I always advise my student to, my future student, to ask my current student, what am I, how do I work? So you need to know how your supervisor. Some supervisors are very, relaxed. Some supervisors are very formal. Some supervisor are very, very hardworking like that. That's me lah. So you need to know. First, get to know your supervisor. You need to find time, because that is very important. Because things that your friend can do with another supervisor doesn't mean that you can do with your supervisor. So get to know, number one, what the things that make your supervisor like, things that your supervisor doesn't like, and always be polite. It's also because we from IIUM, we have different background. We have lecturers from Iraq, from Malaysia, from Libya, many different from Bangladesh. So So our cultures are also different. So it is also important to understand the culture of the supervisor, because if otherwise there will be conflict. There will be conflict. That's part of lita'arafu in the Quran. Allah says for you to get to know each other. Okay, so get to know what are the, so that you can so that you can deal with the supervisor correctly, I would say. So be, and always be polite. Sometimes I notice a student, I think out of ignorance. I'm not saying the students are rude. Maybe, but out of the ignorance, the student do something which are for certain culture it's impolite or rude. So therefore, try to so its culture is very important for Malay especially. We are like soft people, if you know most of the Malays. So I'm not typical Malay. Yeah, you can shout at me, I will shout at you back. But mostly Malays are, we are soft people. So if your supervisor is a Malay, you should know how to handle your supervisor and learn. Don't go through like blindly, because you would be in trouble, because maybe it's okay in your country, but for once the supervisor has something like negative thoughts of you, then you have a problem. And always ask for forgiveness if you do. Even as a student, when I was a student, my supervisor not even a Muslim, so but I always have a lot of respect, and I always humble myself in front of my supervisor. So that is as a Muslim, that is your teacher. We need to always respect, and be polite to our teacher. So in a short, that's how I can answer your question, Mahfuza.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I have another question, that is, according to IIUM Code of Supervision, it is.
Sister, we have open for session for many. You can send your questions and we will respond you through the mail.
Ma'am, may I have your email ID, please, ma'am?
Yes, I will write down here. You can contact me.
Sister Mahfuza, can you mute please? Because echoing.
Tell me.
If anybody wants to follow me in Instagram, you can do. Sometimes I put something interesting, sometimes not. So, but if you do think it's beneficial, you can just.
Thank you very much, madam. That's so generous of you. We will note down the email IDs and the Instagram, and we will share it later in our discussions. Yes, the floor is open. Anybody else like to ask anything? You are free to, please.
Yeah, share anything, how you go through it. Then your friends can also learn, or lecturers here. Anybody?
Yeah, because we are talking about mental health, so it's important to speak.
Yeah, true. It's important.
So this is important for everyone. All the participants can, if you cannot talk, you can just type in your questions in the chat box.
No question. It's either it's not interesting, you don't understand.
Ma'am, I have plenty of questions, but I couldn't get the. I will email you.
There is one question. There's one question from the chat that Sister Tamanna says, how to tell if you are depressed and anxious or just lazy?
Interesting. So to actually diagnose this, a counselor should diagnose you. So that's why if you really want to know, and you are not sure, you can always go to IM counseling. They have this question as like a questionnaire that you can fill in, and they will tell you whether you're actually clinically depressed or you're just feeling depressive, because if you are clinically depressed, the university will help you to go through some process and also some medication if you need be. So I think it costs no harm for you to contact them and do this survey. It's good. It would only maybe half an hour to fill in the survey. Really, I have students before who are in depressive, not my own student, another student from another faculty who I get to know, depressed when and also from my friend here. I have a friend who told me during her PhD she also got depressed, to the extent the real depression is when you cannot do anything else. So when you just stop doing anything, I remember that student, just staying in the bed, not eating, not drinking, not taking shower, not praying, just looking at the at the ceiling. Just that's it. You cannot even do anything. That is when that is already in the bad mode and you need help. Okay, or you cannot do simple things like washing the clothing or something like that. If you cannot do simple things, it's a problem. So you need to find help, seek help. Okay.
Then the last question, which I would like to take, one of the participants, Farah Naz, are you going to speak for yourself, Sister Farah Naz? Are you going to speak for yourself?
Hmm?
I guess she will be back in a moment. There are a few things which have been quoted by participants I would like to share here.
Okay.
Like on a lighter note, people have been mentioning that we were talking about the stress equals to eating non-stop or relax and gain weight.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Uh, and then one of the brothers said that I'm actually afraid of how much sugar intake I'm having lately. So these
Yes.
are the concerns which have been. There is one of Van Omar says if people don't train themselves to do volunteerism from little, they will never care about others when they grow up. So it
Yeah.
was a very important aspect which has been shared. One of the participants, Zahida Jahidi, Salam Doctor, any work smart have you done during your PhD time that you can share with us?
Okay, thank you, Sister Zahida. Just to add on the gaining weight and food, just now, yes, it's true. That's why you need to exercise, brothers, because there are many people who get sick. We don't want from many sickness, diabetes. There are many, so number one, try to control. You cannot control it because it's part of craving. I will also eat the ice cream with my PhD. So you need to do some exercise. Try to push yourself to do some light exercise, inshallah. Okay, any work smart during my PhD that I can share? Okay, that's a good question. As I mentioned before I do the work smart, I will just like have some idea. My supervisor say, okay, Fazlin, do this. Okay, I want this. So then the normal one, I will say, okay, yes, all right, I will just do the experiment, just do the section one by one without really thinking. I think this is a problem of many students, even my students now. I say, then I ask you, why did, then during conversation with my students, say, why don't you do this and later that? Why don't you do this in parallel? Why do this one first? Why don't you do that one first? So it means that not enough thinking there. So during my PhD, after I got that kind of advice from my supervisor, I reflected on myself. Say, oh, okay, maybe that's right. It's true. I work very hard. I just jump on any opportunity to can go to the lab. Just jump on the lab, do whatever experiment I can do. But that's not very smart. So then after that, what I do is I plan everything. So I will look at the whole sample that I have, which one is more important, because brothers and sisters, you never know what will happen next. Maybe you can go to lab for only 1 week and suddenly lock down again. So you must do the most important one first, not like you have like 20, you do the 20 one by one. You need to put into consideration what are the future will be, what are problems, plan B, plan C. So therefore you took the most important one first. So and the most important one sometimes maybe not the one that the supervisor asks you to do first. So you can discuss supervisor, okay, so, madam or sir, I think after looking at this, I should do this because of this. So if you justify to your supervisor, I'm sure your supervisor will understand and say, go ahead. So that's what I meant by work smart, plan, which experiment to do first, which part to do first, because and you need to relate to the situation. If anything, and many things can go wrong suddenly, not only the lab closed, my equipment also broken, and the equipment of the whole Malaysia also broken in my case, so we have many, but we need to plan, try to in the first place, try to do the most important one first.
Thank you very much, madam. That answers the question which is posed by Brother Ahmad Hassan also. That's important is to plan. His question was, my problem is that I love learning random things. So you need to plan and then act accordingly. I'm apologetic for the shortage of time because we have many things to ask and many things to take like ponder upon. This would be the last question for us, and inshallah, like there are certain participants like Norlisa is asking that thank you for the beautiful sharing, doctor. During pandemic, how do you balance akhira and dunya? Maybe you can share your daily activity. So I
Mm.
guess it will be a long thing to discuss, and I would pass on your email address to her, and then you can like give her the motivational, like your daily routine, or you can summarize your discussion in last 1 minute. Then it would be fine, inshallah. Then we'll
Mm.
conclude, inshallah.
Okay, I think I will conclude with the question here. I think to me, one of the most important thing, we are living in this world not only for this dunya, especially for the akhirah. So how do we balance? To be honest, I'm also struggling. Everybody are struggling. However, we need to again plan. Okay, brothers and sisters. So you need to set aside time that you will do for the akhirah. If you don't set aside time, it will go through just like that. The time like two years will go just like that, brothers and sisters. So planning is very important. As a Muslim, you should plan. So you need to have the whole day, how much a time, how many Quran I'm going to recite. Make sure you istiqamah as much as you do schedule for your research. You need to do schedule for your akhirah, and it's extremely, because this akhirah will help you in this dunya. If Allah loves you, Allah will make easy your life. So number one, make sure our relationship with Allah is good, and Allah will take care of us. And make sure you plan accordingly and be istiqamah. So make sure you plan the akhirah, you plan whatever is Quran, recitation. And just to share with you, to find Islamic knowledge also very important. That is also part of your akhirah. You cannot be a good Muslim without understanding what Islam is. So make sure you say, I will listen to Islamic talk at least 1 hour a week. Make sure you put that set and then follow it through. Then inshallah, then and ask Allah, Ya Allah, has spent my time for your sake. Can you please help me during my research? You can ask Allah for that, right? Because you have sacrificed your time, your energy for Allah. So ask Allah, please, can you please like make it easy for my research? Allah can make it easy, or Allah can make it difficult. So everything depends on Allah. So let us try our best to be the best Muslim that we can, and may Allah help each one of you to be successful in your research, not only in your, and especially in your life, this dunya and akhirah. And I,
Ameen.
I apologize if there's anything wrong that I speak to you, and you are welcome to always contact me.
Inshallah, madam. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. It's definitely a spiritual awakening, as you said, and also for those who aim to this degree as parental satisfaction or their academic satisfaction, not Islamic spirituality, because we shared with the message of humanity from Islam for our brothers and sisters from other faiths. So we value your words and we value your suggestions, and we'll try to embed them. Uh, First of all, I would recommend our brothers and sisters, those who are not on board of IEEE, that you can come here. We sincerely work on mental health and we take care of our peers, and we have that close knit society over here in IIUM who works very carefully for per individual development, and we take care of. We have people from different parts of world, and it's an international as well as local Malaysian gathering, and we can build up from there. So that's one of my invitation for all those students and fellow members of IIUM who are not part of IEEE. I welcome you on behalf of everyone. Secondly, we would like to have a group picture in a short period of time. So if you can assemble yourselves together, fix your things. And thank you very much, Doctor, for your insightful sharing. I don't have the right words to thank you because I myself feel overwhelmed when I hear about motivation, because I am the one who's struggling the most, I would say. I don't compare others. I won't put a mask on me. But yes, I would say that I'm the person who is struggling most during the COVID. It's been a long journey for me already in Malaysia. So putting that short, because we are already overshooting the time duration. I guess at the count of 10 we can have our picture, like a group picture. So if you guys don't mind, and open your cams, and then if you can, if not, then we can have that picture image, whatever you have. So 10, 9, 8,
Thank you very much,
7,
Nur Fazlin. Thank you very much.
6, 5,
My pleasure, Dr. Faizlan.
4, 3, 2, 1. I request the secretary to get the picture, the screenshot, please, or those who can from the committee members. Are we done?
Don't know.
Uh, are we good? Like, are we done with the picture?
Sister Tamana, Sister Nagma,
Yeah, one
done
more.
already?
One more.
Just a minute, sir.
Okay.
Keep smiling.
Yeah, done.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. See you all later,
Assalamualaikum
inshallah. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, as the host, I will be the last one to leave. You are free to contact IEEE, Student Society. I will, and my team will try and help you and facilitate any kind of things to you. Thank you, Doctor, for your time.
Thank you.
Fazlin, yes, Doctor, and inshallah, your guidance will put us through this COVID period, inshallah.
InsyaAllah. Amin. Amin. Ya Rabb.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.